France versus Argentina is your World Cup final. Morocco has fallen after what was a great run. Hey guys, I'm Adrian, and you know the drill by now as we are almost at the end of this World Cup journey that we have taken together and upload every day that there are matches, but I don't know how in depth I'll go into the third place match, as you often see teams rotate the squad a bit. It's sometimes a fun one, but it's often seen as a waste of time by the players themselves, especially when it's being played in December and there's a chance you could injure yourself going back to your club for what would just be a third place finish. But anyway, let's get into this. First things first, I was surprised to see Mazraoui and Saiss in the lineup for Morocco, especially considering how Saiss went off against Portugal. He had his leg wrapped, he was stretchered off, he was in tears, he was all strapped up, and yet both he and Mazraoui were in the starting 11. It felt a bit premature from the outside looking in. Of course, we don't have access to know what kind of shape they are in. I am not the medical staff. And with Saiss taking to the pitch all strapped up like that, like Ronaldo in the Euro 2016 final, actually. It was sort of giving me some flashbacks of that moment, you know? A guy who looks injured, who looks like they have no business being on the pitch, but as the captain, wants to be on the pitch to help their country. Spoiler, but both Mazraoui and Saiss didn't play the full 90. Saiss went off after 21 minutes, sadly. Mazraoui at halftime. For France, they were missing two starters in Adrien Rabiot and Upamecano, as both were ill. There were some who were speculating that the air conditioning gave them a cold, but that's not confirmed, so don't take it too seriously. Now, I had maintained on this channel that the most interesting outcome we could see at the beginning, at least, would be Morocco and how they would react if they were to go a goal down in this tournament, which we hadn't seen yet. And I got my wish. I got my wish in a sense that I know they are capable of attacking, and I was curious to see how they can chase a result rather than sit back and protect a draw or a 1-0 lead. I wanted to see what they were made of, and for the most part, they delivered, but we'll get to where they failed later. France's goal was no doubt their most scuffed goal of the tournament, their first goal that is. In a tournament of great goals from France, Griezmann had an attempt, Mbappe had a couple of bites at it, and finally it bounced into the path of Theo Hernandez, who capoeira'd that ball in. Nice high kick. Some people say that the defense should have done better, and perhaps they could have, but it was just one of those scrambly goals where the ball can go absolutely anywhere. It's chaotic. It's hard to account for when the ball could have bounced in any direction, but credit to Theo Hernandez for the finish, of course, and after 5 minutes, Morocco did indeed need to chase a result. They looked their best when they were playing in transition against other teams in this tournament, but a pragmatic manager such as Didier Deschamps was never going to let them do that, so he gave them the ball, and to my delight, Morocco did indeed look very good on the ball. They were moving it well. Their tight little triangles would advance the ball down the right. Boufal would come inside and look dangerous at times. This was the most that we had seen of Morocco, who had built a reputation amongst some watchers as just being all defense and hope for the best. Perhaps an unfair title, or perhaps they were just guilty of not showing us what they're capable of in exchange for favoring the result over play style, which is the essence of tournament ball, isn't it? Now, let's talk about that weird Theo Hernandez and Boufal moment, of which Hernandez had possession of the ball in France's box, but was not necessarily in control of his body, and he clattered into Boufal, and Boufal was given a yellow card. The optics of that are so strange, and this is a very complicated thing to break down given Boufal didn't have possession of the ball. At least yesterday we had Alvarez as the player with the ball, so it was at least cut and dry in that sense, in the sense that we knew it was Alvarez with the ball as the attacker, and Livakovic was the man who had to make a move as a defender. But with this one, Theo doesn't really have possession, at least not securely. He does touch it past Boufal, but it looks more like a foul from Theo than a foul by Boufal, that's for sure. He did not deserve the yellow. My guess would be that the referee was considering whether Boufal even had a shot at getting the ball as it was completely behind him. However, you can also argue that Theo wasn't in control and that was a reckless challenge that endangered an opponent. I don't know. I'll have to meditate on this one a bit more or something because it could go either way for me. It's one of those ones where if it was awarded, you can understand it, but not giving it, you can understand it as well. One thing's for sure, it was not a yellow card. That was bizarre. Anyway, in the second half, we saw a few nice attacking moments from Morocco, but once again, there was a lack of a finisher. I feel bad because the Moroccan strikers are sort of getting the Lukaku treatment from me during this tournament. I'm sorry to Lukaku for continuously bringing up that half against Croatia to speak of how Croatia have had some unfortunate moments in this tournament. I'm done with that now, but the striker position, someone to finish off attacking moves from Morocco. I mean, just imagine if they had someone clinical that they could look to. Imagine just how good this team would be if that was the case. Hakimi and the boys were trying to set things up with cutbacks, but they were either cut out by the French defenders or they went untouched by a Moroccan player. It was too bad to see for a Moroccan point of view, at least. Now, after all that talk of Morocco, let's give a lot of love to France. First of all, Mbappe, congratulations to him for finally making Sofiane Amrabat look human out there. There was the moment where he sped away from him and left Amrabat on his stomach. Then there was a moment he nutmegged him. By the way, this doesn't change Amrabat's tournament at all. If it takes one of the best players in the world to beat you while everyone else fails, you're looking pretty good out there still. And hey, he had that recovery one as well when Mbappe went roadrunner down that left flank before Amrabat slid in to stop him from cutting inside. So Mbappe looked good, but you know who else did? Konate. I don't know if it was in this round or the last round where I said he should be considered to start, as he has been excellent, but he showed once again just how good he is. Holy man. This guy was unbeatable once again for France. He had an answer to everything, just as Jules Koundé. He looked great down the right, made an important intervention. But for me, one of the more surprising defensive performances came from Antoine Griezmann. He was my man of the match for France, and during the watch along with my man Mackwell, I don't know how many times we marveled at Griezmann tracking all the way back to intercept a cutback on the edge of the 6-yard box, to put an important sliding tackle on the edge of the 18. The man was everywhere. Truly an amazing performance from him. And hey, Fofana and Chouameni didn't look bad either as they got the move started for France's goal. Great footwork by Mbappe in the build-up as well, before the ball fell kindly to Muani to put it in with his first touch of the game. 2-0 France, and that was it for Morocco. And the final against Argentina will certainly be an interesting final. I'll save my thoughts for my preview video, which will be coming out soon. As for Morocco, they have done their country and their continent proud. First African nation to make a semi-final, and under Regragui, I expect them to do some big things. I'm looking forward to the next African Cup of Nations now. Another good challenger. Apologies if I sort of gloss over the third place match. Like I said, I'm not a huge believer in it. From my point of view, it's basically a friendly in the minds of the players as they are forced to stick around and play a game after the disappointment of not making the World Cup final. Not sure if I'll do a preview of that one or not, or even if I will do a video on it. We'll see, but I'd say don't expect it if I were you. All right, guys, congrats to the French and Argentinian supporters out there, as I'm sure they are excited and terrified in equal measure of Sunday. Should be a fun watch. And me, I'll have that preview out for you in the next day or two, okay? Thanks for watching, guys, and be well. Ciao.